Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.
Golden Ricketts, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I am well. You've made my night. Before we get started, please go ahead and big up the greatest parish in Jamaica.
You're putting me on the spot. So I'm gonna big up St. Thomas because I was born there, and I'm also gonna big up St. Andrew because I grew up there.
I love that. I'll take that. 14.94 games record. You weren't playing about tonight, were you?
No, I definitely knew that the girls were coming out here to fight, so I had to bring my A game and war them.
What got you going? Was it the cold or was it something else?
It's the cold. I like competing in the cold for some strange reason, but then after the first jump, I feel like it got even colder, and then the breeze started changing. So, yeah, I don't know.
What's next for you in terms of achievement? Because this is your greatest career medal, isn't it?
Yes. Apart from the World Championships, yes, this is my first gold. So what's next? I have the Monaco Diamond League next week, and I'm also going to be participating at the Knockout Championships in Bahamas.
Amazing stuff. And how does it feel to inspire the little kids in St. Thomas? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them with their eyes gripped to the screen saying, I want to be like Golden Ricketts.
Yes, definitely. I hope to be an inspiration to them. I hope they see themselves in me. If them foot long, them can try the triple jump. You know, if them slim, them can try the triple jump or even high jump.
What if them have short foot?
If them have short foot, then can try to cast about foot short too.
Amazing. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Good evening, good afternoon, possibly good morning. All depends on where you're based in the world. My Tallawahs, how are you all? That's before I forget my manners. Good day to yourself, Mr. Reed, Mr. Kamoy Reed. Let me know in the comment section, guys, if my fan is too loud. I'm one of those people that it doesn't matter how cold it is. Sometimes, no, not sometimes, all the time, I always have to have my fan on because I get hot for some reason, and outside is no joke. It is absolutely chapping. I saw snow literally before I came on air for you guys. I looked out my window and there is snow, and you're probably wondering, if there's snow, why are you wearing sunglasses? Well, I'm just doing it to protect my eyes because these days my eyes is twitching, and I know it's not because I'm tired. I do, however, know that it's because I look at the screen. I'm spend too much time in front of the screen, both at work and also at home as well. So there's the explanation in case you're wondering why on earth is she wearing sunglasses and it's wintertime in England. There's your answer. How you doing? What's on the dinner menu, guys, before we get started? I love it early at first through the door. Got the gunner man himself, Mr. Kamoy Reed. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how your weekend's been, guys. And are we going to talk about the World Cup? Should I be talking about the World Cup? Perhaps not, because that's not the theme of the show. There goes the headline. If you don't want to read it, I'll go ahead and read it for you. It's the Reggae Girlz Weekend of Action review. I'm back again. We're coming towards the end of these reviews for the year, that is, guys, because most of the leagues have gone into their season break as of today. We've still got a couple games coming up in the English division. So that's the between the most notable clubs that you guys are familiar with, associating to the Reggae Girlz, that is, or the clubs that's relevant. And I only deem them relevant if they somehow have a Reggae Girl on their roster. Apologies to the rest of the clubs. So all of that will make sense as I go through the show. So let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. You guys are here like right on time. So thank you for that. Mr. Market, you know I'm going to ask you, where is the gang? Where is Nanny and the crew? You need to stop coming through here without the gang, Mr. Garvey. You've got to come up, pull up with Nanny next time, or Mr. Bogle himself for obvious reason. Mr. Campbell, how you doing? Happy Sunday. You guys have been a little bit quiet. Why is that? Exactly. Go ahead and hit the like button. Please do hit the like button. You're a doctor, so you should know more than myself. But apparently that's one of the causes. I did speak to my doctor about it. And at the time she was like, do you spend a lot of time in front of the screens? I was like, yes. Are you tired? At the time I was. This was a while back, though, so I'm just going off what I've been told. But you're a medical expert, so you should know. I don't think I'm tired now, though. I've been well rested. You should know already that I was in Jamaica for a couple weeks, so I am well rested. I came back. I've gone through my jet lag, and yeah, looking to see through the rest of the year. Hoping you guys see through the rest of the year as well with your loved ones. Hope work's going well. Hope work's treating you guys well. Um, let's see, Mr. Williams, pick up. It's not a bad name. I've been called worse, so that's not a bad name to have. Right, this week, guys, you guys haven't commented on the sound coming from my fans, so I trust that it's not too noisy. If it does get noisy, then let me know. If I'm sounding a little bit too loud, also let me know as well. Um, might need to tweak something on my pod. Sounds all right to me, audio wise, but if I'm sounding a little bit too loud, then I don't like loudest myself. So if I'm sounding too out there, then let me know and I'll do some tweaks. All right, that's enough chatting. I'm going to do things a little bit different this week, guys, because I'm actually not going to start off in the English divisions. I usually start off in top flight of women's football in England, meaning the WSL, then make my way down to the second tier, which would be the championship, and then bounce around Europe. Might go across the pond as well, every now and again, touch base across the pond to see what the likes of the babyface assassin. If you're wondering who's the babyface assassin, that's none other than Jodie Brown. Also checking in on Alison Swaby and Sydney Schneider and a couple others. And they currently are based overseas. For me, overseas, across the pond, whichever way you want to look at it. They're just not playing football in England. I'm selfish. I'd love to have them all here for obvious reasons. Just means I'll be able to go to their game and see them play in person. But you can't have it all. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off in the Czech Republic. I think it makes sense. You guys haven't said that. You haven't even given me any directions. I keep asking you guys for directions, but you're not steering me. So I'm having to do all the hard work here, guys. I have asked you in previous live streams if you want me to keep it the same. I guess silence is an answer, right? So it seems like you guys wanted me to start off in England and then bounce around in Europe. But today, because the bulk of our squad, the current Reggae Girlz that is currently belong to clubs in England and also up in Scotland as well, which means the bulk of the show is focused on those players and their clubs. A lot of you tend to miss the half of the show, the majority of the show, I should say. So to avoid that from happening, I'm going to just start off in the leagues that don't have a lot of Reggae Girlz and then go with a slow little build up for you guys. Hopefully that makes sense. So when you do tune in, you wouldn't have missed much. And if you're just tuning in and you want me to reiterate, then obviously all you have to do is just say, and I'll do that for you. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn on the shared screen. Let me just turn this on. So what did I say? I said Czech Republic, right? That's what I said. And that simply means we're going to pay Alika Keane a visit. And she currently plays for Slavia Prague. And in the Czech Republic there, Slavia Prague, this is top flight of women's football in Czech Republic, for those of you who are wondering. Let's take a little sneaky look at the table. I'm going to sound like a bit of a scratch record because I'm going to reiterate myself for those of you who weren't here last week. Unfortunately, what's happened between, let's call it, say September to the present, they've gone and they've picked up a loss, right? And that, as you can see, I hope you guys can read it clearly. That's the first loss of the season. Not too happy about that because I was hoping that it would be one of their rivals there, Sparta Praha. I'm hating real hard because I cannot wait for them to lose a game. I don't want them to go through the season unbeaten. I was hoping that it would be Alika Keane. That's the player there that can play at centre back and can also play her in the center of the park, in a defensive midfield position if needs be. Keeping my eyes peeled to see if she gets a recall under the current gaffer being Lorne Donaldson. Haven't seen Alika Keane play under Lorne Donaldson since his recall, be it interim or the permanent gaffer for the time being. I have said it, so I'm going to say it again. It is a little bit confusing considering she's still the current only Reggae girl playing Champions League football. So that's what we're going to look at because there was no action there. The last action, we spoke about it last week. So if I could go back a little bit, and we spoke about last week's defeat, which would have been a Friday night defeat, and they lost 2-1. And that was the loss that we were talking about there in relation to the table and their league position. And as you can see, they're currently sat in second place. It's only a 1 point difference between them and the leaders, and you can see they clearly have the superior goal difference. They're sitting on 55, and their rival Sparta Praha. Maybe if we all pray together, guys, hating real hard, then they might just lose their next game. Because I just don't. One thing, I don't want them to win the league, obviously, and I damn sure don't want them to do it undefeated. So if we could all come together and pray, then maybe the man above might just go ahead and answer all our prayers. It will only work if we do it together, though. So don't think that one or two of us gonna do it and the rest of you gonna sit back and put your feet up. Don't work like that, right? So as I said, you can see they're sat on 28 points. Their leaders are sat on 29 points, and they have the better goal difference of 55. And Sparta Prague have a goal difference of 39. Right. So let's go back to what I should have started off with. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a context because it's Champions League action again for Alika Keane and Slavia Prague, and you should be able to read it. So I'm gonna take a quick little glance to see if you guys can see. Yes, you can. But what I should do is I should go ahead and remove the headline there or the banner so you guys can see it clearly. What you would have noticed is the game will be played on this coming Friday, and it says 8 o'clock simply because that is my search engine. So I'm working based off my location. So if it says 8 o'clock, then that's the UK time. I'm into a winter time zone at the moment, so I am 5 hours ahead of you if you're in Jamaica. So go ahead and do the math. That's if you want to tune into this game. And as you can see there, they are sat at the bottom of the table, of their group, that is. Going into match 5 or 6, we need a miracle here, don't we, for the top two teams to go through. So we're going to need somehow for both Wolfsburg, who are currently leading the pack, and Roma to suffer defeats at the hands of Slavia Prague, and also hope that Roma and Wolfsburg go on to lose their next match. It's a tall ask, isn't it? So if we go back and look at a couple of the previous results, it might be doable. I mean, Roma pretty much scraped a win over Slavia Prague back in October. They won 1-0. Wolfsburg went one better, beating Slavia Prague 2-0 6 days later. So we're going to keep our eyes peeled and see how that one pans out, and wish Alika Keane and Slavia Prague the very best of luck. Hopefully they go ahead and do what we're all praying for. And also that game there against Roma, which will be match day 6 of 6, will be played on the 22nd of December. Hopefully they can give themselves and their fans and us as well, because we're part of their fan base. Hopefully they can give themselves and us a lovely little Christmas present. Right. So that's how we're looking with Slavia Prague and Alika Keane if you're just tuning in. And I guess what I could do is, since I spoke about Friday night football, here's what I should also do. Let's just go ahead and try and make things fair. Since I am in my journey today, won't really make much sense. I usually start off in one country and then go somewhere else that's the closest country. But today I'm just bouncing. I'm in a bouncing mood, so you guys are just gonna have to bounce with me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from the Czech Republic, and I am going to go to, where should I go? I'm going to go to France, why not? Let's take a little trip to France, guys. And you guys are going to come with me. You don't really have a choice, really. And as I said, Friday night football. So this game was played on the 9th of December. And if we're looking at FC Flohy, by the way, this is the top division of women's football in France. So if we're looking at FC Flohy, then you already know that we're looking at Chantel Swaby, or as many of you like to call her, Baby Swaby. There she is, done in the number 4 jersey, and the scoreline reads for itself, doesn't it? They provided Bordeaux, that's the former club belonging to Bunny Shaw, with a lovely 2-0 defeat. Long may it continue. That's what we like to see. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that might be it for the rest of the year. So let's take a little look at their schedule. It seems like that is it. So that would have been a lovely 2-0 victory there in their back pocket ahead of the winter break. Their next fixture here is against Paris FC. Not to be mistaken with PSG, two separate clubs, and that's penciled in for the 14th of January. If we take a look at the table, they're currently situated in the 5th position. Only teams that's currently above Chantal Swaby and FC Flohy is Montpellier, Paris FC, PSG, and Lyon. So it's a stellar league, isn't it? That's obviously great for the growth and development of Chantel Swaby. So, right, tongue twister. Whilst we're in France, I guess it only makes sense to pay someone else a visit. And you should know where I'm going, if you know your Reggae Girlz, that is. We're going to take a little trip to GPSO Issy. That's the club belonging to Den Blackwood. And also Yasmin Jameson as well. Though I haven't seen Yasmin. Yasmin is the goalkeeper for those of you who are wondering, and Den is a defender. Yasmin, relatively new to the setup in GPSO Issy, as is Den Blackwood. Both of them made a transfer some months back now. Yasmin was the last player to join GPSO Issy, and you already know how it goes with goalkeepers nailing down a position in the starting 11. It's not as black and white as you're not good enough. It's one of the toughest positions to solidify your name, get your names stamped between the sticks. That's a tricky task. So big up all the goalkeepers, because you have a tough challenge on your hands when you make that brave decision to go from one club to another to secure minutes. Pretty much probably down to what goes on in training, what the gaffer likes, what the gaffer don't like, and the unfortunate, and we're not praying for it to happen, but obviously then you're likely to see yourself between the sticks if your number one keeper or the keeper ahead of you picks up an injury. Then obviously it's showtime. It's your time to prove yourself. But we're not hoping for that to happen. Just trying to give you guys a little bit of a context. I'm going to see if I can bring up the starting 11 so that you guys can see Den Blackwood there in the starting 11 for GPSO. Issy, I think it will probably help with the conversation, right? Or maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. I like to look at visuals when I'm talking. So bear with me. Let's see if I can give you guys something to toy with. And yes, I can. So in case you're wondering why am I wearing sunglasses, because you're probably just tuning in, it's blitz outside. It is chapping outside. There's snow. Right, there is snow, but I'm just trying to protect my eyes. So no, I'm not in a sunny location. I'm just trying to protect my eyes. That is, if you have a better recommendation, then please do let me know. Right, so you can see Den there done in the number 2 jersey. And you can look at the bench, and unfortunately, we don't have our girl on the bench. But again, let me reiterate, that doesn't mean that she isn't good enough to make the bench. These things takes time, takes a while for certain players to settle down when they move to foreign countries. I don't know. I don't think, I'm not gonna try and put anything out of her reach, but French is Jameson's first language. She probably know how to speak it, but I don't know if it's her first language. I imagine it will be something else. But yeah, it probably take her a while to settle down with life in France. Thankfully, she has her teammate Den. I'm sure they can just rely on each other to adjust to their new surroundings. So it could be a case of an adjustment period. Might be taking her a little while longer than expected to find her feet, settling into her new home as well. That's a thing that a lot of people don't think about when players make their transfers to from one club to another. It doesn't have to be a foreign club or a foreign team. It does take a while for you to just settle in and get yourselves comfortable before you get going again. We'll take a quick little break. Fresh, Mr. Fresh himself. How you doing, sir? Always great to see you around. You're always saying the right things, so thank you for that. Mr. Campbell is saying, she's on the up there, Jade Bailey. You're saying Elika Keane is probably our best defensive player based on form. I might leave that on screen for you there, Mr. Campbell. I don't know. Someone needs to give Lon Donaldson a little bit of a poke. Don't poke him too hard though, because we do need him fit as a fiddle for the World Cup. But you might need to give him a little bit of a poke there and ask him, "What's up? What's going on?" And if I need to take Lon Donaldson to Specsavers, I don't think I do, but if I do, I guess I can make some time for him. Right. So we've looked at France. We've also looked at France. That's the country for the time being. That is where Denden Blackwood, Yasmin Jameson, and Chantel Swaby, our crop or trio, I should say, of Reggae Girlz, current Reggae Girlz. That is. That's where they're based. From the top tier to the second tier. So you can keep up your eyes on FC Fluhy or GPSO ISSI, whichever one suits your liking. I would say keep your eyes on both, because if you're supporting Reggae Girlz, then it just makes perfect sense to just keep tabs on all three players, right? Both clubs. So what we're gonna do now, I told you I'm bouncing around today, guys. So what we're going to do, it might be that time to come over to England. It might be that time to come to England quickly, guys. Should we do it? Why not? Got a derby, got two derbies there, based off my notes. I've only just realized that derbies in top flight of women's football in England. All right, so let's go ahead and make that little jump. I love it when you're in the comment section. Some of them were a little bit stingy. What can I say? Have they been, to be fair, or maybe I'm doing them a little bit dirty today. They've actually been hitting the like button, so thank you to them. Hopefully it continues. What I can do now is make my way over to top flight of women's football in England. I'm gonna have to update my socials as well. I've deliberately not put anything on the socials, or I deliberately don't do updates after the final whistle, simply because I don't want to ruin the live stream. You guys should already know by now that Sundays we do the Reggae Girlz Weekend of Action review, and I don't want to ruin it or seem repetitive. So that is the reason why you don't see updates on the Twitter or social Twitter or social media. It's the same thing. Twitter or Instagram after the final whistle, right? So before I get into it, almost slipped my mind. I might have to just hold fire there, guys. I'm gonna come back to that. So someone asked me, one of my subscribers asked me about the return of the Jamaica Women's Premier League, and he wanted to know about how we view the game, how we watch the game. A bit like myself, I was scratching my head as well, trying to figure things out. And so I made a promise to him. It was one of the soldiers from Jamaica as well, which I had the pleasure of meeting. Ricky actually asked me about the all-important question: how do we go ahead and view the games? I didn't have the answer. I did reach out to some reliable source, and my reliable source, I should say, and she kindly pointed me in the direction of the Jamaica Football Federation. And thankfully, they responded, which I appreciate. And instead of reading their response, I'm going to just read what they put on social media, because shortly after responding to the email, they put something out on social media. So for those of you who are wondering how to watch the Jamaica Women's Premier League, Wonder no more, and also don't get your hopes up like the rest of us. Here's your answer. You should be able to read this one for yourself. If you can't read it, I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you. It's pretty straight down the middle. No frapping around. It says live games or replay are not available at this time. I know, ruined Christmas, but hopefully in the near future. And this is just me saying this. I'm saying hopefully in the near future, we will be able to watch the Women's Premier League from all over the world, right? Because we can tune into the men's Premier League. So I don't really see why we can't, or why we should be unable to tune into the Women's Premier League if we're all talking about equality and equity here. That's a good way to start. So yeah, if we're looking at the fixtures, it says games played on December 10th, spread across the board. A little bit of unfortunate. I haven't seen anything with regards to the results there, so my apologies. This was the last bit of info there as it relates to the Jamaica Women's Premier League that was shared. Game week 1, which came last week, shared on the JFF Twitter handle. So might have to just wait, maybe within the next 24 hours. They might just put something out on their social media. They did say they will. So I'm going to hold them to their word and be a little bit patient. So, yes, Ricky, there's your answer in case you haven't picked up on that. I did promise you that I would reach out to them, and I stuck by my guns. I stuck by my promise. Sorry, it's not the result that you wanted, but at least now you know. It's not possible to watch the games live, and there's no options to watch it on replay. Yay. Um, right, so sorry to put a little bit of a spanner in the work, but I'm trying to keep us all on the same page here. And like I said, hopefully this little situation here will change. But don't hold your breath. If you want to make it into 2023, just move on. Take this one on the chin and move on. And moving on is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the WSL, because that's where I stopped. So we're going to go and look at the WSL. And again, this is the top flight of women's football in England. Two teams there for us to focus on as it relates to the current Reggae Girlz, that is. We're also going to take a little look at the table. I know you guys want to see what the table is all about. As I said earlier on, we had two derbies. A little bit disappointed that I couldn't watch the London derby, but I was able to watch the Manchester derby. And Man City, you should know by now, this is the club belonging to none other than Bunny Shaw. And this was a good game. It was a really good game. As a neutral, I say neutral, but obviously I'm gunning for Bunny and Manchester City, especially if they're playing against the Red Devils. That makes me even more desperate for them to get all 3 points. Unfortunately, on this occasion, it wasn't to be. You can read a full-time score up for yourself. If you don't want to read it, I'll go ahead and read it for you. This one finished 1-1. Let me just go back and see if I can bring something up for you guys. Actually, rather than trying to screen it, let me just do something else. I'm gonna trip myself up one day. All right, let's just go and bring something else. Bring up something else for you guys, because like I said, I like to toy around with a little bit of visuals here and there. So since I'm looking at it on my device in front of me, makes sense to give you guys a little glimpse of what I'm looking at as well. Bear with me, bear with me. Let's see, what's the quickest way to do this? Bear with me here, guys. Bring something up on screen for you guys. There we go. Took me a while to get there, but we got there in the end, right? And let's see if I can bring this up on screen for you guys. Remember, it finished 1-1 in the Manchester derby. The result is probably a little bit too small for you guys to read in terms of when the goals were scored. Basically, a goal was scored in either half. Manchester United opened the scoring, and Bunny Shaw and Manchester City pegged them back to make it 1-1. So that's points shared. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring something else up for you guys. Let's go. Does it work? Yes, it does work. Look at this. It's a lovely view. And I'm loving the record breaking attendance across the WSL for our women football players, especially the ones who belong to the Reggae Girlz, right? Bunishaw and Manchester City came from behind to earn a point against Manchester rivals, Manchester United, in front of, read this, guys. You should be able to read it, should be able to see it for yourself. 44,259 supporters. And that, guys, is a club record for for a women's football match at the Etihad, that is. So that is a wonderful way to sign off for the time being as it relates to the WSL. We're going to go back over and look at the other derby there that we were talking about, or the derby that I touched on quite vaguely there, and that is the London derby. So that's a point apiece there in the Manchester derby. Things were a little bit on the downside in the London derby, and we're looking at Tottenham Hotspurs, and that is the club belonging to Drew Spence and Rebecca Spencer. It's not a reading that we want to see, is it? um, so you should be able to read this one for you. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. So we're gonna move forward quickly, and basically this is how it panned out. Rebecca Spencer and Drew Spence lost 2-0 against West Ham United in the London derby. And this is all for top flight of women's football in England. And you can see there, I know some of you like to see your visuals. Yes, you do have Rebecca Spencer there between the sticks. And you also have Big Drew as well. So both players there getting the all important minutes under their belts. And why is it important? Because we have a date down under, couple dates down under next year at the Women's World Cup. So yes, all our players need maximum minutes under their belts as it relates to club football. And now, since we are in the WSL, again, top flight of women's football in England, let's go and take a little trip. Let's go to, where are we going? We're going to look at the teams belonging to the championship clubs, right? And that would be, I'm going to click on something really quickly just so that you guys can see what I'm on about. Purpose of a little bit of transparency so you guys believe my words. Right, so we have a host of Reggae Girlz playing in the championship. For those of you who aren't aware, let's take a quick little look at the league table. And the top two positions currently occupied by girls, Reggae Girlz, I should say. My apologies. London City out in front, and that is a club belonging to Atlanta Primus. They're leading the pack, and the closest club to them is Shania Hills and Bristol City, and they are just trailing them by a point difference. Goal difference as well is pretty neck and neck at the top of the table in the championship. That's the Barclays Women's Championship. Barclays became the new sponsors as of this season, for those of you who are wondering. So the top two positions occupied by Reggae Girlz, and long may it continue. It just means that if things go the way that they are looking, then we're likely to see a Reggae Girl getting promotion to top flight of women's football in England, which is just music to my ears. The other two clubs there for us to keep our eye on is Birmingham City. That's the home of Siobhan Wilson, and also Crystal Palace. That's the home of Paige Bailey Gale, right? So hopefully that all makes sense. You can take a quick little glance. So as things stands, we're occupying the number 1, number 2, 5th, and 6th position, and we'll be hoping that Birmingham City and Crystal Palace leapfrog these two clubs here, Charlton and Southampton, just brush them aside and pull themselves up higher in the league positioning. And this is our thing. I'm not going to go over these results because we already did this last week. You should be able to see that it's actually last week's results. And that simply means that there's a break there in the championship. Next match is actually the team that kicks us off is Siobhan Wilson's Birmingham City. They kick us off in the new year. against Durham. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't no football. There was football. What we're gonna do is let me go ahead and bring up another tab for you guys. Talking about the women's football club there in the championship. My brain froze for a moment, so I didn't even know what I was supposed to be searching for. So sorry for the bit of a slight little delay. Alrighty, so these games, these FA Cup games had me on the ropes, and you guys are about to find out. Let's see if I can bring that up on screen for you guys. Is that showing? It should be showing. Let's take a quick little look. Is it showing for you guys? Yes, it is. Good evening to yourself, Mr. Baker. I hope you're in good spirit. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the championship. So again, Bristol City, that's the home belonging to Shania Hales. I'm about to sound like a bit of a broken record, right? Because when we're talking about Bristol City and Shania Hales, you should probably know how this one's going to pan out, right? And in case you don't, and of course you don't, because Google have this tendency of toying with us when it comes to these results, you're going to have to just trust and believe my words here. You can clearly see that it's the FA Cup, women's FA Cup, that is, and it was the third round tie. And here's how this one panned out. Shania Hales' opener helped Bristol City book a Vitality Women's FA Cup fourth round place of the beaten Southampton. 2 goals to the good. I'm gonna try and see if I can bring something up. Just to back up what I've said. That's not to say you guys don't trust me, but again, I do like looking at visuals. Let's see. Yeah, we should be all right with this. It shouldn't bring no copyright, shouldn't flag a copyright, right? So as you can see there, Bristol City Women's FC, you can see clearly there, they tweeted some hours ago into the next round. And like I said, they defeated today's opponent, Southampton, 2 goals to the good, with Shania Hales opening the scoring. And she has a habit of doing that. She's done that on a number of occasions this season. I did give you guys update on Dendon Blackwood. Why does it feel like I didn't do that? I'm pretty sure I did, because we touched base in France, so I'm sure I did. If I didn't, then let me know that I didn't, but I'm certain that I did touch on Dendon Blackwood, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to backtrack a little bit. If I can get the screen that I'm supposed to be looking at. I've got so many tabs open that I've actually gone and I've confused myself. Let's see, what tab is it? What was I searching for? Oh yeah, FA Women's Cup, right? The FA Women's Cup. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and look at the remainder of those third round draws and see if we can spot any more Reggae Girlz. All right, let's go ahead and see what's what. We had another game earlier on, guys, and that game has been rescheduled. So you can go ahead and look at what's in front of you. Got some upcoming matches, so don't worry, I will go ahead and keep you updated. What I'm gonna do now, however, and this is the game that had me on the ropes, because from kickoff, not even kickoff, warm up, from the time I saw them warming up and it looked like -1 outside, I was like, there's no way that your game's going ahead, so just do the right thing, ref, and just call off the game. And they had us waiting around, I'm not sure what for. But I wish I took a screenshot of all the games that were postponed. Basically, due to poor weather, I think I might have to just work with Crystal Palace for you guys, right? Due to what I'm gonna do is whilst I speak to you guys, bring something else up for you. I'm gonna bring up something else in relation to Crystal Palace. This is one of the games that got that was postponed today, again due to bad weather. But before I dive into all of that, you can go ahead and see they were scheduled, and I say they, I'm referring to Crystal Palace and Paige Bailey Gale. They were scheduled to take on Watford. And you can see what you all want to see. Paige Bailey Gale, she was in the starting 11. But like I said, I was keeping an eye on this game, and I was thinking to myself, based on observation, it's looking like -1 out there, and I know my eyes aren't fooling me. I'm pretty sure I can see snow, so it's like there's no way that that game's going to go ahead. And lo and behold, it didn't go ahead, and you should be able to read this one for yourself. Match postponed due to heavy snowfall. Rearranged fixture, details to follow shortly. So you're gonna keep our eyes on a number of games that was postponed this weekend, I should say, due to heavy snow. And what we're gonna do now is hope I haven't confused anyone. We're gonna take a little glance at some other cup actions there, as it relates to I don't know if it's the coldness or what, but I keep having these moments where I'm just losing train of thoughts. It's coming up to my bedtime, that's why. Okay, let's go ahead. So we're gonna look at the Conti Cup, right? And you should know who currently holds the holders of the Conti Cup. It's none other than Khadija Banishaw, for those of you who are wondering. And they're defending their title. Give you guys all important information there. No Bunny on this occasion, but when you have the squad depth of Manchester City, you don't really need to worry. This was a game that was played midweek. On the 7th of December, and they tucked in Liverpool nicely, sent them to bed, sent them out the cup, a matter of fact. And they're currently still defending their trophy. Wow, as long as there is a Reggae Girl looking likely to lift this trophy, I personally couldn't care less who wins it, as long as it's a Reggae Girl. And whilst we're here I'm gonna take a look at the comment section again, guys, because I'm looking at a different screen. But I'm gonna come and look at you guys in a second. You can see we do have a few games coming up as it relates to the Reggae Girls there. So you've got the holders, Manchester City and Banishaw. They've got a game coming up on the 17th of December, and they're taking on the Foxes away from home. You also have Bristol City and Shania Hales. They be taking on Lewis. That's on Friday night football, so that's a perfect way to start your weekend. Might want to etch these dates in the back of your brain. We have Birmingham City in the mix as well, club belonging to Siobhan Wilson. That's a derby. That's a Reggae Girls derby. So there you go. You shouldn't be bored with this one. That is Siobhan Wilson. She'll be taking on Atlanta Primus and London City, or London City Lionesses, whichever way you want to look at it. And we also have another Reggae Girl who's set for action in the FA Women's League Cup, the Conti Cup. Crystal Palace and Paige Bailey Gale, they'll be playing Charlton away from home. And Spurs as well, and that is Tottenham, and that's the home belonging to Drew Spencer and Rebecca Spencer. They'll be taking on Southampton. And that is it there for your Conti Cup action. So your sport for choices between league football, FA Cup, and also the Conti Cup or the League Cup, all in relation to women's football. So you can't say that you're bored between now and the end of the year. You're not. Definitely not. Mr. Ryan Sports Classic, how are you, sir? I'm well. I am well. I am well. I am refreshed. Not tired for once. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Miss Brown, how are you? How you doing? You guys haven't told me what's on your dinner menu. Thank you for the weekly updates on the girls. My pleasure. Mr. Blair, how you doing? What's on the dinner menu, guys? Right, so let's go ahead and bring on that headline again there, right? So in case you guys have missed it, let me give you a quick little recap. Actually, that's probably the better thing to do, right? So we have if I could go back and look at a few things to just jog my memory before I misinform you guys there, you would have missed out on if you're just tuning in on a few things. So let's do a quick little backtrack before I move on to rounding up the rest of the show. Right, so let's bring up something on. If you guys don't know by now, you're obviously tuned in to the Reggae Girlz Weekend of Action review. We already touched on a few things here. So, in case you guys have missed out, in case you're just tuning in, let's try and bring you guys up to speed. We have some cup action in France, and Blackwood and GPSO it's ISSI march on in the Coupe de France. They have their opponents waiting for them in the next round. And we have Shania Hale. She delivers in the FA Cup. Gave her club there, Bristol City, some FA Cup delight. She opened the scoring against Southampton in the third round of the FA Women's Cup. We also spoke about Bunny and Manchester City, and they broke club records. They provided the neutrals and also their diehard supporters with a delightful game of football today in the Manchester Derby. City and Bunny break club record attendance, and you might have missed out on that one. I did mention the figure, and it's quite impressive actually, because I believe the Etihad is over 50 something thousand capacity. So that was quite something. Record breaking numbers there at the Etihad as it relates to women's football. So long may it continue, all for the growth of women's football. So you guys have you guys missed out on much? You have if you're just tuning in. Almost at the end of the show, but there's still a few bits there to talk about. So we're gonna talk about the highlight of the weekend. Has to be the highlight of the weekend given the circumstances. Let me just look through my notes just to make sure I haven't missed out on anything, because I would be kicking myself if I did. Already touched on let's go back actually, because I was in Scotland. It's so rude of me not to do this. I do apologize. Let's just backtrack quickly. Take a quick little dip. I did mention Scotland, didn't I? Don't think I actually touched on Scotland. So let's just go to Scotland quickly, guys. Hearts FC, that's the club belonging to none other than Brian Sampson. Again, I am going to sound like a bit of a broken record because I did say that Sampson missed out on the 5-0 thumping here for Hearts over Hamilton, and this was a precautionary decision. Hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll be back in the squad for their game. Hearts scheduled to play on the 18th of December, right? And after that, I should think if we look at the schedule, yeah, they're gonna go into a much deserved break. So watch all the women's football whilst you can. They're not robots. They will be bringing their league to a end temporarily to go off and let their hair down and enjoy the festive period with their families. Fully deserved, of course. Right? So I think I've pretty much brought you guys up to speed, right? And now I think it's time to possibly bring. I hope I've not missed out on anything on my list, but if I have, it just means I have a reason to come back and speak with you guys tomorrow. Before I do that, let's go ahead and round off the show with the highlight of the week. I don't think anyone can argue. Definitely or at least the highlight of today, in case someone wants to challenge me on that. My ears are open for a little conversation with you all. I think you should know where I'm going next if I say women's football. If I say women's football and I'm talking about Scotland, you should already know where I'm going. And in case you don't know, let's go ahead and try and give you some guidance. All right. Let's go ahead and bring up something there for you guys. And if you don't know, now you know. We're definitely, and when I say we, I'm obviously referring to the Reggae Girl supporters because we're the only ones that matter in all of this. Sorry to say, if you disagree, then it's not really open for debate, but you can disagree if you wish. We're seeing out our 2023 with another trophy in our back pocket, and you should be able to read this one. And if you don't want to read it, I'll go ahead and read it for you. Kayla, McCoy, and Rangers were crowned Sky Sports Cup champions. Get this, guys, for the first time ever after sealing a 2-0 victory over Hibs. This was some game. Obviously, absolutely delighted for Kayla McCoy. In case you're just tuning in and you're wondering why I didn't mention Chantel Swaby, well, that's because she no longer plays for Rangers. And if you know about Rangers, then you will know that they have a little habit in the last year or so of doing things for the first time ever. Last season, they were crowned champions of the Scottish Women's Premier League, and they also did so with an unbeaten season. So they're developing a healthy habit of doing things for the first time ever, and long may it continue. So that is my highlight of the week. We gotta save the best till last. That's not to say I'm trying to discredit the other Reggae Girls with their contribution for their respective clubs, but surely it doesn't get any better than lifting a trophy, and that is exactly what Kayla McCoy has done with Rangers. And long may it continue. I tried to hold this one back because I was waiting on something to come through to me to share with you guys, but I don't think I can wait no more. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and give it to you guys. I thought the club would have actually done something, but they haven't. So all I can do is apologize to you guys, right? And that is that, right? Someone says I'm happy for Kayla McCoy. Aren't we all? Which one is the Reggae Girl derby again? Good question. You're putting me on the spot there. You're definitely putting me on the spot. Hold on, let me just update my socials because I've not done anything in a while. So let me just update my socials quickly, and then afterwards I will answer your question. I'm gonna have to look at my notes because if I try to guess it, I'll probably get it wrong. I'm gonna have a go actually. I think the derby I think it's between oh Lord, I'm gonna get this wrong, aren't I think it's Bristol City and London City. So I think it's Shania Hales and Atlanta Promise, but I'll double check that for you because I might have got that wrong. I might have got that wrong. So let me I'm gonna check that for you before I sign off. Just bear with me one moment. And I'm close to my bedtime. My bedtime these days is 10:30 when I'm on the graveyard shift, and not when I'm on the graveyard shift, when I'm on the early dreaded morning shift, and tomorrow is that dreaded day again. So all right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me just send that out. And let me go and answer your question. So, Reggae Girls Derby. I did say that it's I said Bristol City and London City, right? I'm gonna stick by that. And let's see. Yes, it is. This is the FA Cup game. Let me bring it up on screen so you can see it. Matter of fact, let's bring up the FA Women's Cup again so we can look at that temporarily. So let's go. You should be able to see this on the screen in front of you. Where is the game that I was referring to? There's a game coming up. Is it the FA Cup? Which one was I? Was it the League Cup that I was referring to? Is it Conti Cup, guys? Let's see if I might have been the Conti Cup. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna make sure I give this to you. I did get it wrong. It's Siobhan Wilson. My apologies there. Yes, so good thing I double checked it for you. Siobhan Wilson, Birmingham City and London City. Someone asked this question in the comment section. So there's your Reggae Girls derby, right? So yeah, try and etch this into the back of your mind. I don't know, put it in the notes in your phone. That's what I do, or set a reminder depending on how important the game is to you, whatever floats your boat. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if I could do something quickly. About to bring the show to an end, guys. So if you guys have anything that you want to throw at me, then feel free, be my guest. Before I close off, let's go ahead and bring up that once more there before I close off on the show. Red Devil, good, nice to see you around. How are you doing? How's everything in your neck of the wood? You guys are quite silent there with the World Cup talk. No one fancy talking about the World Cup. I'm not gonna pull no one's legs, so you guys seem like you're in a little down mood. So I'm gonna leave you all alone. Judging by the comment section, I already know who some of you support, so I'm not gonna pull no one's leg. I'm just gonna let you guys be. And I'm gonna bring my show to an end just under an hour, which is quite impressive. And what I'm going to do before I go to my bed is I'm going to go ahead and update my socials because I haven't done so today. And then I'm going to head off to my bed. Right. So, before I forget my manners, thank you to those of you who have taken your time out to tune into today's show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you for blessing me with a moment of your time. It's greatly appreciated. We've actually discussed quite a lot here today. And if you want to know, if you're just tuning in, sorry, but the show is coming to an end any minute now. You're going to have to watch this one back on replay. But like I said, my moment of the week is right in front of you. Sky Sports Cup winners, and the trophy belongs to Kayla, McCoy and Rangers, and they've gone and sealed the trophy, the cup, for the first time ever. And you can go back and look at a few more great results here and there as it relates to the Reggae Girls. Some for Denden Blackwood, also Khadija Bunny Shaw and Manchester City in the Manchester Derby. Shania Hales delivering FA Cup delight for Bristol City, and so much more. If I had all the time in the world, I would reiterate it all for you, but unfortunately I don't. Sir Rich, how are you? I'm gonna keep quiet today, right? I'm not going to say nothing today. I said all I needed to say yesterday, so I'm just going to keep quiet. Nice to know that you had a safe landing though, so good to see you in the comment section as always. Say hello to Ted for me and little Matt. And I think that is it. That's it, guys. I'm closing off now, so I'll see you guys again shortly. Hopefully sooner rather than later. The lady on YouTube, good evening. Thanks. So you are most welcome, Mr. Gordon. And if you guys are new to the channel, please do go ahead and kindly hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button if you've enjoyed today's show. So 33 of you have hit the like button. Thank you. I didn't really have to pound on you guys to hit the like button today. Long may it continue. My dreaded Monday morning is slowly creeping upon me. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you and get ready for bed. Hope you guys have a smashing week. I hope you smash all your aims and objectives, or all your targets, I should say. Hopefully you guys have a productive week ahead. And if I haven't seen your comment, so if I haven't brought your comment up on screen, clearly it's because I haven't seen it, because I wouldn't see it and just not bring it up. Or if I've not acknowledged it, then I apologize. It wasn't on purpose. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. If you're out and about, I hope you make it home safe and sound. And like I said, have a smashing week. And you know how it goes. If you're new to the channel, kindly go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I don't want to say this, don't want to do it, but until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.